Hi, guys. Welcome to the second episode of the Slice of Art podcast. Today, I have joining me is my good friend Hina. Yeah. So why don't we just get right into it? Can you tell us like a little bit about yourself, Hina?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. So good to be here. I'm Hina. I was born and raised in Japan, but I also partially grew up in Hawaii too, and now I'm based in Orange County, California, and I am a Pilates instructor, and I sometimes create content on the side.
Nice. Yeah. Can you kind of talk about that journey? So, you started out with content creation, right? And then you went into Pilates after that? Yeah. So how did it all
Definitely,
start?
yeah. Yeah, so the content creation part started as like a fun side project during COVID. I think
Mm,
a lot of people in Hawaii were getting into content creation at the time because we had a lockdown and we couldn't do much. So people were starting an Instagram page or YouTube channel. And I personally was really inspired by one of my best friends who eventually became a full-time content creator. But since we couldn't do much back then, we started taking aesthetic photos for Instagram, and she was the one who started YouTube first. And I got curious, and I decided to give it a go too. So that's how my channel started.
nice. What was your channel about? Like, what did it kind of focus on?
Yeah, I guess the bigger picture was to share about the wellness and mindful living from the US to the Japanese audience. Since I
Mm,
speak both Japanese and English, my content is mostly catered to the Japanese audience. So yeah, I was sharing wellness and kind of low waste mindful living tips, or I was just sharing my journey to the sustainable mindful living. So that was the first content I started making. And of course, my content, has evolved over time.
mhm.
But I think at the core, I've always wanted to focus on wellness, how to take care of your body and your mind, and also Mother Earth too.
Mm. Was that something like you were always interested in, or interested in? That's a tongue twister. Or did that also come to fruition during the pandemic?
Um, I guess um yes and no. I feel like growing up in Hawaii, since you also grew up in Hawaii,
Hmm.
I'm sure, you've heard the term like Burnout-hina, or, the take care of the land and the land will take care of you. I think spending so much time in Hawaii kind of helped me understand the connection we have with the environment and the earth. And, we're surrounded by the ocean, mountains. So yeah, I guess like I've always had that connection with the nature. And also, wanting the desire to take care of what's around me. But I guess in terms of like putting it into practice or making something practical out of those concepts, it actually happened during the pandemic. I feel like a lot of people, I was a little depressed. I got super
Mm.
anxious because I didn't know what to do during that time, and I also felt helpless. So yeah, that's when I really started taking the time to take care of my mind, not just my body, and also I guess like that led me into thinking, okay, how can I take care of what's around me um too. So yeah, I guess over time I started becoming more passionate about those topics.
Mm. That's beautiful, though. Like how it started in
Yeah.
that way and then how it became something positive. I think a lot of people struggled during the pandemic. Like, I definitely struggled too, and that pushed me to like draw more because there's like more time to myself and stuff. So that really like also helped my mental as well. Um,
Definitely, yeah.
so that's where you started, was the content creation about like wellness and about taking
Hmm.
care of like the things around you and yourself. But how did that go to Pilates now?
Yeah. So during the pandemic, as I mentioned, yeah, I started taking care of my body, and for the longest time, I struggled with my body image. I grew up learning ballet, gymnastics, and I was not never comfortable in my own skin because I feel like growing up in that type of environment, you are taught that being skinny is better and it's more desirable. So I've always lived with that sentiment. And pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, I really needed to kind of improve my relationships with food and body image. So um actually started taking fitness and physical wellness more seriously during that time. And after moving to California, I decided to become a Pilates instructor. So yeah, that's I've always a little backtrack a little bit. I've always had a yoga instructor license, and I've been into kind of wellness, mindful movement in general. But I wasn't teaching at that time, and I decided to kind of polish my skills and be certified in Pilates as well because I fell in love with Pilates after moving here. So yeah, now that I'm a certified instructor, my content evolves around a lot more about Pilates and fitness. But again, as I mentioned earlier, it's stemming from the desire to share about wellness.
Mm-hmm. So the root or like the core of everything is the same, but like the content kind of changed a little bit. Like it's more, yeah, more about fitness, I guess, and then before it wasn't including a lot of that. Um,
Right, exactly.
yeah, that's going back to the body image thing too. I think it's
Hmm.
hard. I definitely felt that too. I think growing up, I wasn't in ballet or in gymnastics, but I think like society or like when you're in high school and college, like it was idealized that the very skinny and slender body was like feminine or more pretty and such.
Hmm.
But I think I like nowadays where the fitness community is like growing so much more, like Pilates, yoga, and then there's like gym and all this other stuff, and it's kind of highlighting a more like not sculpted, but what is that called? Oh, toned body. So I
Hmm.
think I like the way the body image maybe is transitioning, but I think a lot of girls still do struggle with that sort of thing. It's like very common, unfortunately, for a lot of young women to feel that way. But
Hmm.
I hope it changes. Like you can be whatever size you want, and just as long as you're healthy and happy, I think that's what matters most. Healthy, happy, and I guess if you're make sure that you're involved in some sort of like physical activity, I think that would be ideal.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah. I think media tends to portray, models and very skinny people and we idolize those people. But yeah, I think it's toxic, honestly.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we
um.
must see the change soon.
Uh. Oh wait. Sorry. You said you had your yoga license before you had your Pilates license. So why did you decide to go with Pilates versus like yoga? Like what was the thought process behind that?
Yeah, it was very simple. I just wanted to differentiate myself from other instructors. I
Mm-hmm.
think living in California, the wellness community here is huge, and there are yoga studios everywhere, Pilates studios everywhere, and I just wanted to make myself a little more employable, to be very honest and to be very frank. And I thought, yeah, if I had a few more skill sets, I would be more employable, desirable from the studio. And since I didn't know anyone in California in terms of like the yoga or fitness community. I just also wanted to take a in-person training in California to make connections, make friends, and meet more people. So yeah, I've decided to kind of take on additional training too, and that was just happened to be Pilates.
Mm. Do you still see yourself trying to continue yoga too and incorporate that also in your like journey as well?
Definitely. So yoga has been part of my life since I was 14, so
Mm.
it's not going anywhere. Um,
Why
I
were you
practice,
doing
I practice myself, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Why were you doing yoga at 14? I don't think I knew about that at 14.
Oh,
So
really?
to me that stands out. Yeah, how old are you when you're 14? Are you a freshman?
Yeah, I think I just finished middle school and then going to high school at that time. I only got into it because my mom brought me to a yoga class.
Oh,
Um,
uh-huh.
yeah, so that's how I was first exposed to yoga. And it was more like a community event where, everyone's welcome. It's like open invite. And yeah, I really love that movement style. I was never athletic, although I learned, ballet and gymnastics. Outside of that, I really sucked at sports. Like I still can't swim. I can't do anything that involves ball. And so yeah. But I guess yoga, because yoga is similar to dance in any other sports. I guess I was able to do it, and yeah, so I definitely see myself practicing yoga and also teaching
Mm-hmm.
in the future. Although I am not currently teaching actively, I definitely want to, pursue that route too.
Okay. Got it. Um, Let me see. What else did I want to talk about? Um, so can we talk about why you moved to LA from Hawaii?
Yeah. Um, so I moved to California, I want to say at the end of 2021, December 2021. I might be wrong, but it's been a few years. And it
That's
was
okay.
right after the pandemic. I need to go back to my
Yeah.
camera roll. I think, yeah, December 2021, because mainly because I was craving change. So as we mentioned earlier, we had a lockdown, we couldn't go anywhere for a year or so. But I think I needed to relocate myself to kind of grow both personally and professionally. And don't get me wrong, I love Hawaii and I wish I could go back every month. And yeah, I miss it so much. But I just, I guess like being a Aquarius too. It's just part of who I am. Like I need to move around and find a new environment. So I just couldn't stay in Hawaii any longer. And I chose LA simply because one of my best friends, the one very the first one I mentioned earlier, the one who
Oh, yeah.
inspired me to start YouTube, she was already in LA.
Mm,
So
mhm.
moving from Hawaii, moving away from home was definitely scary, but at least I knew somebody here, someone close, here in LA. So yeah, it made the transition much easier.
Nice. You've lived off island before too, right? Like so you moved from Japan to Hawaii and then you did go to college
Yes.
not in Hawaii for a few years or was it all of college? Sorry, I forgot.
No, it's all good. Yeah, no. During college, I lived in Oregon for a year and a half,
Mm-hmm.
but Oregon wasn't for me, unfortunately. It was just too cold. So I
Oh.
moved back to Hawaii and transferred to University of Hawaii at Manoa. So yeah, that's where I graduated. But so I did experience mainland for a little bit, but I think college was different because you are put in this like circle of other students, and it's so easy to meet new people, and there's a support system. and you have mentors and all that. So and versus moving somewhere post college and for work, I think a lot of people struggle with like finding friends and finding a community. Um, so yeah, I guess it was a little bit. I was definitely more nervous to move to California than moving to Oregon as a kid.
Mm, mm-hmm. Had you visited LA before you moved here, or did you just move here purely because your friend was here and you just took a chance?
Yeah, I actually visited California, like especially LA, specifically LA twice before moving,
Okay.
but those two times it's yeah, it was a long time ago. I think I was still a teenager when I visited. So yes and no, like yes, I knew how to get here. I've seen some of these, sightseeing spots, but no, like I didn't know too much about it.
Mm.
Actually, I lied. I did visit my friend once before moving, before I decided I wanted to move there. And that visit didn't really convince me at first. She lived in North Hollywood at that time. And if you know North Hollywood, it's not that attractive. And, for to someone moving from Hawaii, the vibes are very different from Hawaii. That's why. I'm not saying North Hollywood is a bad neighborhood. I think it's got its charm and it was a very safe neighborhood. I actually lived there for a few months, and I liked it, but it wasn't anything like, let's say, Santa Monica or downtown DTLA,
Mm. Yeah,
it
yeah.
was a quieter neighborhood. And so yeah, very simple. So, but I guess like I just decided to take the leap of faith and just do
Nice.
it.
Um, do you, what do you think the big differences um, living in Hawaii versus like living here are? I guess
Yeah.
both good and bad differences, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good question. So I guess in my current industry, I guess pros, the good parts of LA is that, it's there's so many opportunities here. There are always new studios opening, and um, those studios have like the state of art equipment or just very trendy equipment. And also the education level here is very high, so you get to meet a lot of well-trained, experienced experts in that field, and it's easy to find those people and actually take classes from these people too. So I'm very grateful to have those opportunities and meet one of the top experts in Pilates, not just Pilates, but also yoga and other kind of wellness industry as well. Versus, I guess, the negative side is that people can tend people tend to, not everyone, but some people tend to focus more on the aesthetics or the very superficial aspect of their wellness. So, um, I mean, in LA, it's very common to get Botox done or their face done and all these treatments to enhance their appearance. And I'm not against those things. But when it comes to wellness, or yeah, um, these very high beauty standards can also, I believe, contribute to the body image issues and all those problems too. So I guess they are good and bad sides to everything, right? But yeah, I just noticed that, people in LA compared to Hawaii, they tend to care about their physical appearance a lot more. Hawaii, um, as you know, people are very laid back and it's a slower pace. And there is a strong sense of community, so that's what I loved about Hawaii, and I think that's a part of the reasons why I just couldn't find the yoga studio that I like here. I mean, I've visited tens of, not thousands, but a lot of yoga studios here, but I just couldn't find the sense of community, like oneness that I felt in Hawaii. So yeah, I guess that's the good part of Hawaii. Only downside of Hawaii is that, it takes time for people in Hawaii to receive the newest, fitness trend or newest equipment just because we're so isolated from the mainland. So I feel like we just it's weird to say we because I don't live there anymore, but what I feel like in Hawaii, they just got or there's not that many Pilates studios, and I think they're slowly starting to open and like become more available, like accessible to people. But it definitely took some time for them to open up those studios. So yeah, um, there's pros and cons to both sides, but I guess like to sum it up, I think Hawaii is very healing, grounding, and very nourishing in a way, and LA is more about the growth, the fast-paced environment, and kind of like the go-getter mindset. So,
Mm.
yeah.
Mhm. I think I agree with a lot of what you said, and I think it's so we're so fortunate to be from Hawaii that we have the luxury of like going back to see family and friends, and we can call that place home, right? I think that's why
Mhm.
you say we a lot, because it is, you do still feel like deeply connected to the place that you grew up in, because there's just such a great love and appreciation for it. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I also do feel like I also moved to LA to grow and stuff, and it is the place for it, because there's just so much people, culture, and it is very fast paced that it kind of forces you to also evolve in that way as well. Um,
Mhm.
would you ever see yourself opening your own studio? Is that like the end game, end goal, or have you ever thought about that? Because you could create your own community. Like that would be so cool. I feel like you would make such a beautiful community.
Oh, thank you. I feel so humbled to hear that. That you believe in me. But I thought about it, there is a high demand for, Pilates and wellness community in general, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I've worked with a few studios, and
Yeah.
a lot of times, studio owners are stressed about the cost of operating that Pilates business just because Pilates equipment is very expensive. Like the reformer, it can cost anywhere from 5K to 10K per machine. Um, mhm. Maybe you get a discount on wholesale. Maybe if you are, a Pilates studio and you're
Mm.
getting like tens of them, maybe you get a discount, but still, it is not cheap. And if you wanted to um, get the top-notch equipment, it's gonna be actually tens of thousands of dollars. So I don't think I will open up a yoga or Pilates studio of my own, but I am planning on opening or starting an online Pilates community. So where I would either stream or have videos on demand for people to play and follow along to do Pilates, and maybe build, I'm thinking of building a community in that online presence. So that way I can connect with people, not just in person, but yeah, from anywhere, whether it's from Hawaii or from Japan. So yeah, that's my plan.
Mm. That's cool. Yeah, I think also from the pandemic, streaming and virtual content have become a lot more popular because it's accessible to people and they don't have to like make plans to make the trek, look for parking, set up a time. It's it's like very convenient to do it from your home with other people. And yeah, you can connect with not just people in LA, but yeah, in Japan and also in Hawaii too. So it's a overall good idea to do. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Nice. Okay. Uh, what else do I have to ask? Oh yeah, I wanted to ask. I feel like you're really busy, so I was curious to see what. I think you asked me this question too. So Hina used to do like she would interview people on her YouTube channel, and then she would just ask a couple questions. And I think you asked me this question on your channel, so I'll throw it back to you. How do you find balance between your work and your personal life?
Yeah. Well, good memory, first of all. And yeah, I still remember doing an interview with you, but I didn't remember like the questions that, we
Oh my
talked
god.
about. But and I feel like I'm not the best person to answer that question because I am a workaholic and currently my life is work or work is my life now. But and so it is still, work in progress to find that work-life balance. But I try to be very intentional of with how I spend my time and as someone who teaches movement and talks about wellness, I think it's important to actually live what I teach. And so yeah, I try to make time to actually rest. So sleep has become my number one priority. So that's why we do have a hard stop at 8 p.m. because I've been going to bed at like either 9:30 or 10 because
Oh,
I wake
what?
up like 5:30 or 6 to get that full 8 hours of sleep. And my boyfriend also has a very early morning, so we've been both going to sleep super early and keep the sleep hygiene, good. And yeah, other than that, I guess I genuinely love working for, teaching Pilates, so it doesn't feel like work to me. Maybe that's why I can just keep going. But I do feel burnt out at times, so um, I try to keep my rituals. So, I mean, it sounds nice, but it's just a morning and night routine consisting of like just five simple steps. So, in the morning, I drink lots of water, I meditate and stretch. Those three things, I never ever skip. And that's why, and also breakfast. So that's why I need to wake up at least 1.5 to 2 hours before I get out of the house. Um, that's why I wake up so early. But having that 1.5 to 2 hours to myself before I start work or before I talk to anyone is just a no-brainer, like very important. And at night, I have a 1 hour of no phone, no screen time to really wind down. So I use also at night, I meditate, I stretch, and I moisturize my body head to toe. So I feel good. And I drink tea. So that's my night rituals. And I do have to use an app to meditate because I do a guided meditation with an app called Open, just
Mhm.
OPEN, Open, very simple. I highly recommend it. But I have a separate iPad that I don't get any notifications on. So no social media, no email app on my iPad. So that way I can disconnect from the outer world and wouldn't be, intrigued or tempted to uh, open up my social media accounts. And that iPad is very sacred to me. It's just meant for meditation, stretching, journaling, and what else do I use it for? Oh, and the music. So I have a separate device for separate things.
Oh, that's cool. I think people have separate phones too, right? Or sometimes
Really?
they'll do that. Or wait, maybe that's
Uh-huh.
just my friend, but she recently had to update her phone, and then for
Uh-huh.
some reason her social media apps didn't go in the new phone. So she just has two
Oh.
phones, and then she has her social media phone, and then she has her other phone
Uh-huh.
where she can just contact people from. Maybe
Oh,
that's
that's
where
so
I got that
interesting.
from. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
that
I
would
didn't
be
know.
expensive to have two phones, I guess. But that makes
Right?
sense.
Yeah. I mean, if both of them had service, yeah, that would be so expensive to keep up every month. But if one is just like offline tablet, yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
or you can just disconnect, no service on the phone, just use Wi-Fi at
Yeah.
home to use it. Yeah, I think that would work. Yeah, if you have like a old device just sitting in your drawer, maybe you can use it.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. um wait, so to
Yeah.
clarify, the five things you do that every day?
Every morning, every night.
Every morning, every
Yeah,
night.
I follow my routine. Yeah.
And then when you start to feel burnt out, do you have like a separate ritual that you implement, or do you just keep doing those things and then ride out the burnout?
Yeah, I think I just like try to write it out
Oh my
and
god.
also sleep a lot more. Like I definitely
Oh,
sleep when I'm burnt out. And then so when I guess I try to be more I guess like overall, I try to be more gentle with myself. I feel like I don't know if you can relate, but as an Asian person, like growing up, I've been told that resting is for the weak and productivity is everything. You need to earn rest, or if you have my parents used to tell me something like, if you have time to rest, make yourself useful, or go get to work or do your homework. So I always felt like resting is not I'm not worthy of rest.
yeah.
But over the years, I've experienced burnout and anxiety, depression. So I guess when I start to feel that way, I think there are levels to being burnt out. So when I start on a very low level of burnout, I think I become aware of it first. Like I acknowledge it that I'm burning out, and try to take it slowly so it doesn't have to escalate to a high level of burnout.
Mm,
So, yeah, I guess like I try to take care of it when it's like smaller and very low key. So, when I start to feel very tired, or when I start, feeling a little under the weather, maybe a longer self-care routine, or maybe I'll brew, more special tea, to make myself feel better.
that's good. I think like snuffing out the little flames when they're smaller versus like when they're bigger is a lot easier, because if you kind of like, I think also acknowledging it when it's like starting to happen
Mhm.
is a way of kind of, I guess, accepting it too at face value, so that's also very helpful. That's good. I will have to use that. I think I'm coming out of a burnout period, but it's been
Mhm.
it's been happening for like a year, so that's
Oh no,
been
sorry to hear
that's
that.
been crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I don't think it's the inner critic saying that I don't deserve rest, but I think
Mhm.
growing up also in an Asian household, like I'm a perfectionist, so if things are
Mm.
not to the caliber that I envision in my mind, I get disappointed, and then sometimes I'll spiral, and then maybe I won't even start it because I am thinking about it being to this level that is unachievable. So, yeah, but I will try to notice it in the beginning and then try to acknowledge it. I've also been trying to journal a little more often too. I think I kind of
Mhm.
neglected that in the last year, so that also really helps me to kind of like refocus and think about what's going on in my head and notice that it's just internal, it's not really me.
Mhm. Mhm. I like that. Yeah, I'm glad you're coming out of the burnout period.
Yeah, me too. I'm so excited.
Yay.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that kind of concludes all the questions that I had, especially because we're on like a time stop too. But is there anything else that you kind of wanted to? Oh, you can plug your social media, and then maybe also where do you want to say where you teach Pilates, or you don't have to if you don't
Sure.
want to.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Hina.flows. And I teach, if you are in Southern California, I teach Pilates at a studio called Live Meta, Livemetta. We have studios throughout Southern California, in OC area, but I teach at their Long Beach, Tustin, and Orange studio. So just look for the name Hina. I'm the only Hina in the studio, so I think it's easy to find me. But just go to Live Meta website, and yeah, if you're ever interested in in-person class, yeah, just DM me on Instagram as well, and I can help you find a class. So, but yeah, thank you so much for having me, Casey.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Okay. All right, this concludes it. Bye, guys. Until next time.